Welcome back to Quick Shift TV. Auto Trader seems to be absolutely packed with Astra GTCs, and I'm going to run through 3 reasons why I think after a year's ownership they are a brilliant car that you might not have thought about. So to kick us off on number 1 is actually the DNA and heritage of the GTC, because it's got some underpinnings of some much cooler cars. First of all, this was the platform that they went on to use for the Astra VXR, which is much more performance orientated. Granted, it has the 2-litre turbo producing much more power, but this was fundamentally the platform with some of the styling cues and performance enhancements over the baseline Astra. Also, it has got some of the suspension components from the Insignia VXR. Again, I know that's not a hypercar, but more performance orientated, making this more composed and agile on those twisty, turny roads. And then finally, it has the engine block from the Corsa VXR. So it's the 1.6 turbo. Granted, again, in the Corsa, they produce a little bit more power through remapping. That is obviously available to you with this engine block, producing 180 brake horsepower from the factory. Actually, for a daily driver, makes this quite a lively morning commute car. Now, the second thing I've chosen actually took me by surprise, and I suppose is a little bit of a boring one, but it made this car a good starting point for creating an OEM plus daily driver, and that is the capability of the brakes. Even with the stock discs and pads as I bought it, I noticed the calipers were really quite capable in terms of stopping power and had a nice sharp bite from cold, and they fared quite well as they got up to temperature on the more demanding roads. I've then obviously enhanced that somewhat with the yellow stuff pads, which has always been a favourite of mine. I know they're controversial in the forums, and obviously the BBC discs to complement on all 4 corners. So it means as I begin to push the car on those more kind of twisty roads, they are more than capable of stopping the vehicle. So that brings us to the third and final point in my case of why the Astra GTC is an often overlooked but fun car on the second-hand market, and that is the amount of car you get for your money. Bearing in mind, you've got different engine options open to you based on your circumstances. So I'd say the 1.6 turbo that I've got in this is the most fun, but it's also going to be the most juiciest in terms of fuel consumption. So if the 2-litre diesel, which seems to be very popular, is more fitting for your circumstances, for slightly longer fuel range, then that might be the case, and you can opt for that. So you've got 3 or 4 different engine options open to you. I also love that you get a lot of the styling cues from the Astra VXR. So the VXR is obviously much more aggressively styled, but you still get a subtle front splitter, some nice sharp flowing edges, coupled with part leather seats, DAB radio, plenty of boot space, 3 usable seats, make the Astra GTC a really exciting potential second-hand car option for you to have a look at. So that just leaves me to say thank you for your engagement with the channel so far, and I will see you in the next upload. Take care.